very jealous and keeps making rules for me to follow. Warning, I'm going to be annoyed in this video, because I already am. That title alone, already annoyed. This story came April 4th, 2015. I've been dating my boyfriend, we'll call him Peter, for about 7 months now. When we get along spectacularly. Our chemistry is off the charts, we're playful, we're both driven. We have similar interests, like same career path, we both read for leisure, both interested in exercise. I've been told by many friends that they can just sense how much we care about each other and that we have the same disposition. We're calm, we're relaxed, we're sweet. If not for the following stuff, I would be head over heels for him. Hell, I already am when he's not acting this way. So this stuff started happening about a month in. Peter is an extremely jealous person. He's admitted this to me. He can also be a bit judgmental and conservative. The following is a list of things that he has asked me to do for him throughout the course of our relationship. I haven't asked for anything like this in return, and I've even asked him if he feels like I've done the same, and he has said no. I don't even want to read this list. I'm pissed already. But here we go. Bullet point list she has. No cursing, no low-cut shirts, no MJ, you know, the green. Not a big deal because I've smoked less than 10 times and I've been okay with giving this up for him. He prefers me to not get drunk. Also not a big deal because I don't drink a lot, but it kind of sucks that I can never let loose and get tipsy with my friends without a comment from him. No perverted jokes with him or anyone else. He says the jokes would be funny if a guy said them, but they're not funny when I do it. Can you guys see the smoke coming out of my ears yet? No using a joking little kid voice with my friends, even girls. No talking about other guys around him because he thinks I'm trying to make him jealous. No talking about past relationships, even though he still does. No emojis in text messages with other guys. No exclamation points or sounding too flirty or happy when talking to guys. Audibly say goodbye when we part ways. Verbally greet him even if I'm late to class. No speaking to male friends on the telephone or texting after 10 p.m. at night. Text him when I leave my apartment or when I'm on my way to school. This isn't a specific rule, but if I don't text him for 3 to 4 hours during the day, he will say to me, "Oh, hi there, silent one. What have you been up to?" He likes me to stop by his study space when I get to school, before class, after class, and before I leave at the end of the day. He has stopped by my space less than 10 times in our 7 months together. He asks me if I'm behaving when we're not together physically. I swear to God, if any man ever said that to me, are you behaving? I'm sorry, I forgot the part where you were my father and I was 7 years old. Okay, we don't need to get mad. This is not my relationship. We've had a bit of a power struggle when I've wanted to go out with my group of friends. Also, there is a structured timetable of how much I'm allowed to talk to my ex. We broke up 2 years ago and a half and had a year of silence. Recently, we've been speaking on Facebook. He doesn't have my phone number. It's random stuff about our undergraduate, just friendly stuff, very lighthearted. I'm only allowed to talk to him once every 3 weeks for 10 to 15 minutes. If he Facebooks me and it's been outside those 3 texts, I'm not supposed to respond. He still gets mad even when the ex Facebooks me. And lastly, I'm not supposed to flirt with members of the opposite sex, which I don't. However, he sees interactions between guys and me, and it appears that he thinks that anything along the lines of smiling, laughing, or sarcasm are grounds for flirting. He doesn't like easily 80% of the guys that I interact with on a regular basis. Girl, how do you remember all this? He must be mad at you all the time because there's no way, even if I wanted to follow some stupid rules like that, that I would even remember all of that. I've already forgotten. I could probably name 2 of them. There have been a few incidents that have bothered me in that time that we've been together. In the interest of time, the most recent problem he and I have been having is my friend named James. James graduated last year from the program that Peter and I are in together. He's a big brother type to me. He was assigned as TA for the class that I was in, and I went to a study group that he led. We became friends. We've been friends for 3 years, and nothing has ever happened, and neither James nor I have ever shown any interest in it. We just have similar political views and give each other dating advice on the occasion. James came to visit the school, and he and I got together for lunch while he was there. He was here for 3 days, and I saw him once for only an hour. Before he visited, he texted back and forth maybe once every 10 days. Since he visited, it's been 2 to 3 times a week, about 10 texts at a time, nothing outrageous. I imagine it'll start lessening when it's been longer since his visit and exams approach. He's in a new city without a lot of friends, and I enjoy talking to him. Because he's working, he usually texts me on a Saturday and Sunday more than the work week. James texted me last Saturday morning. I didn't answer, so he followed up with a text on Sunday. We chatted briefly about a TV show. Then he texted me again this Saturday to tell me about his date the night before. This has been driving Peter up the wall. He has demanded to see all the text messages back and forth, even though I strongly object to this, as I think it's an invasion of privacy only 7 months into our relationship. I let him see all the texts. I don't even know how he made it 7 months. I could not even last about 12 hours having that conversation. He's in a new city without a lot of friends, and I enjoy talking to him. There was nothing inappropriate there. This is where the no emoticon emoji rule came through. However, Peter says that James is a shark and is only friends with me because he wants to date me. This is ridiculous because James and I have no feelings for each other. We act more like siblings, and we are going to be living in different states for the rest of our lives. Peter causes a fight every time he notices James texting me or gets pouty and silent until I ask him what's wrong, and then we fight. About 2 hours ago, Peter gave me another rule. He wants me to arrange it, so James only texts me once a week. No word yet on how many texts I will be allowed to exchange with him. He also says he doesn't want us talking about intimate things. When I asked what that entailed, he brought up that he was mad that I told James that I was going to take a nap in the last conversation we had. I only told James that as a conversation ender, so he wouldn't wonder why I wasn't responding. Peter just seems unreasonable. I guess here's the big problem. Oh no, girl. There's many big problems. No worries, we've already been there, but sure, add another one on. I feel like Peter gets mad about something, fights with me until I'm worn down, then comes up with a compromise, which is really just him imposing another rule on me. There was a guy who liked me at the beginning of the year that I eventually just had to block on my phone because Peter was so mad about it. He asked me twice to show him that the guy is really blocked, and he really is. The same thing happened with the ex, and I know his endgame is me never speaking to my ex again. Peter had a jealousy issue with my friend Rob, wore me down to a point that I basically just avoid Rob now. Rob even approached to ask if I was mad at him and apologized for whatever he did, but he didn't do anything. I just feel like this is going to keep happening over and over. I never get the benefit of the doubt. James is constantly afraid I'm going to be stolen, and I feel like a teeter-totter between wanting to give him what he asks so he'll feel comfortable and feeling like it will never be enough. I feel like a caged animal. I'm afraid every time James texts me or any guy speaks to me in front of Peter. I like him so much, but this jealousy is driving me crazy. I'm also afraid if we're together, I'm going to get to a point where I'm not allowed to be friendly with 50% of the population. I'm in danger of losing a total of 3 good, respectful guy friends, all of which I've known longer than Peter. I've known Rob for 2 years, James for 3, and the ex for nearly 6. I'm not a bad person or a bad girlfriend, and I'm tired of being treated this way. We fight at least weekly, sometimes twice a week, over an issue like this. I just want it to stop and be with the person I fell so hard for. But also, I don't want to end up in a controlling relationship with someone who can't manage their jealousy. Any advice ever been on his side or mine? He's already going to a counselor, but our school only provides one every 2 weeks, and he missed his last appointment. He's open to couples counseling, but I don't know if there's a point 7 months in. Because he missed the last appointment, he hasn't brought up the jealousy thing with the counselor yet. He's willing to read books on this topic, but I feel like the problem is that he won't start to get better until he really trusts me and he wants to change. change. He says that he does, but then he keeps doing this stuff. You know what? I am not above anything else because let me tell you, I have been in a relationship where there were in fact rules and I stayed longer than I absolutely should have and I followed some of those dumb frickin' rules. So here I am getting mad only because I was in that position and now that I'm years out of it obviously and I'm older and wiser, not at all, but maybe on this topic, I get angry. I'm angry at myself that I once stayed in that, but angry that you're in it also because I'm like, man, I can relate and it's so stupid. Guys, I'm gonna tell you one of the rules, okay? I'm gonna tell you one of the rules that I listen to. I would post on Instagram, obviously, and back then I was like a fitness creator and I posted workouts, so I was in fitness gear a lot, which meant a sports bra, whatever. I had to show that partner at the time my posts before I posted on Instagram to get his approval or not. Are you insane? I mean, I know he is, but girl, are you insane?
What do you mean?
Anyways, I was young and dumb. That's just one rule of many. If I told you the rest, y'all would not believe. More ridiculous than some of these. Anyways, if you guys have ever had a relationship like this or a rule, I want to know about it. And hey, maybe you're in it and you're like, I respect the rules. Couldn't be me, but let me know. Couldn't be me anymore, Joss. Let's not pretend, okay? The first update came 1 month later. We are now at May 1st, 2015. Honestly, I'm so turned around in this relationship that I don't know what's happening anymore. I do think that this relationship has some disturbingly manipulative and controlling elements coming from Peter. We've had several incidents in the last 4 weeks, which have been very disheartening. Great. And she's gonna list them. So I'm just preparing to get more angry. Number 1. I went out to happy hour with friends, a guy and a girl that are engaged to each other, at 5 p.m. while Peter studied. I guess he assumed we were eating dinner together because we eat almost all of our meals together. He didn't confirm that though. He knew where I was going and who I was with. I put my phone away because my friends both had their phone away and it was just us 3. My phone was on silent because I had been in the library. I checked my phone every half hour or so. The last time I checked it, he had sent me a text asking about dinner and then a snarky follow-up 15 minutes later. I had ordered an appetizer with my friends and wasn't hungry. I told him to go ahead and eat without me and we would meet up later. I decided to go back to my friend's house and play with their dog and have another beer. You are in for it, girl. Peter had told me that he was going to study until 10 p.m. and then he wanted to spend the night together. All of a sudden, Peter was mad at me for not telling him that I was eating, not telling him that we switched locations, even though I did within 10 minutes of switching them, and telling me that he had the right as my boyfriend to know where I was. He said I was inconsiderate and selfish. He was texting me every 10 to 15 minutes, angry at me, and completely ruined my night. I couldn't hide from my friends that I was upset and it was borderline humiliating. I went home by 10 p.m., but I didn't want to see him because I was angry. He didn't apologize until the next day after we talked about it extensively, and even then he tried to justify it. I feel weird about my friends now that they've seen this behavior. Yeah, girl. Because I remember being in that and I just wouldn't tell people most of the time, which is even worse because you isolate yourself, because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I was even tolerating it for myself. But then also I didn't leave, so, well, I did later. All right, next incident. There was another incident when we ran into one of my good friends and I stopped to chat with her. Peter and I had spent the night together, had lunch together, and had gone on a walk. I caught up with my friend for like 3 minutes and then planned on walking to Peter's study space to chat for a few minutes before going back to my friend's to study with her. Peter likes to say goodbye, even though we study like 20 feet apart, separated by a wall. Peter got impatient, felt ignored, and walked off. Then he sent me several texts about how rude and inconsiderate I was by pretending that he wasn't there. That wasn't true at all. I was telling my friend I liked her sweater, asked her how she was, then I was going to exit with Peter to fill my water bottle and say goodbye. This blew up into a 3-hour argument via text message. Next incident. I had my best friend from home visiting last weekend. She stayed with me and drove 18 hours round trip in 4 days just to see me. Peter constantly texted, made passive-aggressive comments if I didn't respond quickly enough, and generally was negative about me not giving him enough attention. I pointed all of this out. He agreed and told me that he would calm down. We all went to dinner with her last night in town, and I thought it went nicely. When Peter got out of the car, my friend made a comment that she was glad to see Peter and I getting along better. 5 minutes later, I got a text from Peter criticizing me, accusing me of not acting like a couple with him, acting distant, and not holding his hand. I was shocked. I thought I did a great job with the conversation. He talked for his fair share of time and he got along well with my friend. She's been my best friend for 10 years. He said he hates how I always do this. I have literally no idea what he's talking about. This wasn't a date. This was the first time he met one of the people who was most important to me, and the last thing I wanted to do was make her feel like a third wheel. I told him I wasn't going to argue while she was in town, but obviously I was upset for the rest of the night. He apologized the next day, but only after a very long conversation. Obviously, he didn't make a great impression once my friend saw the aftermath of the dinner. Girl, please, I can't even handle more. Do I have to keep reading? You know, I do like knowing the ins and outs of people's relationship drama though, because I'm nosy, so. Next incident. Peter and I had a good day on Tuesday. We had fun. We were getting along. I came over to his place, took a nap. He went to soccer, and then I ordered dinner. We ate together and we bonded. I checked my phone. I kept it in my backpack now at his request. And he saw I had a text. He wanted to know who it was from and what it said. I told him it was from James, asking where I was studying this summer, my home state or school state. Peter started lecturing me about getting texts after 10 p.m. It was 10:30 where we were and 9:30 where James was. He talked about how it was inappropriate. He wouldn't talk to a girl so late and asked why James wanted to know where I was studying. He asked if James was planning on visiting me. James and I have no plans like that whatsoever. Later, I got chapstick out of my backpack and Peter started accusing me of sneaking around to text James back, which I wasn't. He asked me 3 times if that's what I did. I almost left, but Peter convinced me to stay. All of a sudden, I felt suspicious. I asked to see his Facebook chat log so I could see when he had last Facebooked his ex that he swears he wasn't spoken to. He refused, so I ended up leaving. You know what they say about cheaters? When someone is so suspicious and insecure about you cheating, it's usually because they're doing something.
Facts. Hard facts.
That they shouldn't be doing. And then they're worried because they're doing it. They're like, maybe my partner's doing it. If I'm doing it to them, what if my partner is? That's what people say. I don't know. I ended up leaving, then coming back and saying if he wouldn't show me the same transparency that he demanded from me, it was over. He still tried to say no. In retrospect, I'm horrified by how angry I felt. I wanted to push him or hit him. I've never ever felt like that towards another person. It's like I didn't recognize myself. So he ended up showing me the log. He had a long conversation with his ex from Christmas Eve, which was inside jokes, flirting, and sexual references. I asked to see his phone. Whole months were missing from his call log, but he had 2 voicemails from her, which insinuated they had some contact with each other. He swears that's all there is, but almost half of his call log is gone. This is something I could forgive in a normal relationship with remorse and change, but it hurts a lot considering that he's breaking rules he's given me, lied, and been hypocritical. I feel so watched and suffocated over actual guy friends, subjected myself to structured timetables imposed by him, had an open phone policy, and he's off talking about inappropriate stuff with his ex. She's blocked him now, but that's not the point. He's got me to a point where I feel guilty every time a male friend talks to me, and I've actually started believing that I'm doing something wrong if I laugh at a guy friend's joke. I feel sick when my phone goes off if I'm around him. Girl, I have been there. Ugh, what an awful way to live, and you don't have to live like that. That's the best part. I've been reading literature on controlling and abusive relationships, and I shared my concerns with him that he is meandering into this territory. He's been dismissive of it almost every time I brought it up. I've had 3 friends tell me they're concerned based on his rules and jealousy. He just says that he has high standards and boundaries and that I would be jealous too if the roles were reversed. I don't think I would be, but he insists that I would be. I just feel like he doesn't listen to me or take me seriously. I thought things were getting better. He said I could. Girl, why are you forgiving him though about him texting his ex sexually? That's insane. And deleting call. What is happening? Is anyone else as annoyed as I am? Like, I don't even want to keep reading because I'm so annoyed, but I'm also very invested in people's relationship drama because I'm nosy. I thought things were getting better. He said I could text James whenever I wanted and he would be less harsh and critical in general. Yesterday, though, he asked if I had responded to James and why that guy wanted to know where I was and said it was weird that James was being so nosy. I think James was just making conversation. Then last night, I was studying with friends and Peter walked by. Peter and I had just fought and I was mid-work in conversation with a friend and I just made eye contact with him and I looked away. I got a text asking why I didn't smile and wave. I apologized and said it was my fault and I didn't mean to hurt his feelings. I then got more texts saying that I was cold and demanding an explanation. That got me upset and I tried to tell him that the constant criticism and control was too much. That I felt like he was trying to control my emotions and make me pretend to be happy when I wasn't. He told me I was overreacting and he was tired of arguing and just wanted to be good and nice. I feel like he starts a fight, expresses his feelings, then he just wants it to be over, even though the criticism and control is really wearing me down and making me agitated. I just feel like if I stay with him, I'm going to end up giving in and just letting him criticize me, letting go of my guy friends, and then apologizing whenever I mess up. That I'll just end up a shell of myself and cater to his needs instead of compromising. But I also don't think he's doing this on purpose. I think he gets insecure and doesn't know how to fix it. So he wants me to do it instead of asking himself if he's overreacting. I think that's how we get all these rules. He's fixing symptoms and not the root cause. I don't think any of this is malicious. I tried to break up with him again 2 days ago. He begged me to wait until after finals, which is 8 days away. Eventually, I agreed, but I said there would be no sleepovers or physical affection. He agreed, but now he's trying to kiss me even though I tell him I don't want to kiss. Then he gets mad that I'm not kissing him back. He says he knows now that he's being controlling and manipulative and says that he will change. But I'm not seeing any change. I just feel so confused as to whether I'm overreacting or not. I can't tell if he's actually being a little abusive and he makes me doubt myself because he doesn't call me names or hurt me physically. He wants to read the book when I'm done with it and says he'll learn from it and wants to stay with me. In 8 days, finals are over. In 17 days, I will graduate from law school. I just feel so bad about myself and confused. I've always been an empathetic person, an emotionally intelligent person. That's usually what I am known for by friends. But I feel so steamrolled. I'm also so embarrassed. I'm supposed to be this strong, capable woman, and I can't even tell if my relationship is healthy. Right now, I'm planning on dumping Peter the second his final is over and blocking him on everything. I feel relieved when I think about that, but I also feel scared that I'll miss him and that I'm being crazy and unwilling to compromise, that I'm throwing away something good by being dramatic. I keep trying to convince myself, apart from the question of whether he's controlling, that if I'm not happy, I can't stay with Peter. That long distance is too hard. He wants to interview at law firms in my city and plan on how to get back together in a year. I can't do that if I have any doubts, and I don't want to spend another day miserable. I have to dump him. I just need to make sure I do. I've already tried it multiple times. I can't get talked back into this. It isn't healthy. Don't you worry. We have more updates and this is all going to be wrapped up in one big bow. But first, we need to drink some water. I don't make the rules, okay? We got to hydrate every day. Cheers. It's Hydration Station. You guys, I got one of the most beautiful flower arrangements sent to me by a friend for a very personal reason, which maybe I'll talk about one day with you guys. But I did lose someone recently in a very horrific way. I just try not to let you guys in on the sadness. I try to just bring joy to my community on the internet, but I just gotta say how beautiful, and this puts added the most, it added a little bright moment in a very heavy day. And I just wanted to share with you guys. Maybe it will add, if you like flowers, it'll add some joy into your day as well, because it's so pretty. All right, our next update is May 25th, and it's 24 days after. I finally did it. Today I took the last step and I blocked him on all my accounts just 10 minutes ago. We are going no contact. You were all right that he used the time before and immediately after finals to draw me back in. I don't really regret waiting though. I didn't want to be the reason that he ended up messing up all his finals and potentially not getting a job that he wanted to because of grades. That isn't the person that I want to be, and I'm okay with sacrificing a few weeks of my happiness for retraining that part of myself. The following weeks were full of his apologies, assurance that he's changing, etc., but nothing changed. I realized I didn't want to wait around to see if he could get better because I don't want to be with him. He's not respectful of me, and you can't teach respect. He seems completely incapable of emphasizing with me and taking me into consideration when making plans. He wouldn't listen to me, he was dismissive of my concerns, and I just didn't feel valued, supported, or happy when we spoke. When I broke up with him, he said that's what he wanted to because my interactions with men are inappropriate and not in line with his beliefs. 2 months ago, that would have really bothered me, and I would have gotten reeled back in defending myself, but I just said, that's not true, but I'm not going to fight with you about it. I wish you the best, goodbye, and then I blocked him. I feel a little sad and lonely. It'll be weird to go from nearly constant contact and cutesy text messages to complete and utter silence, but I'm hoping the payoff of not having horrible fights multiple times a week will balance that out. The good news, I graduated last week, made the honor roll, got the highest award in a competitive class. I'm back in my home state, living with my parents, and my bar review class starts tomorrow morning. I'm back to running and lifting multiple times a week, and I'm in the process of booking up my social calendar. I'm scared of the future of being with someone like him and of never feeling this level of passion again. I'm especially afraid that I really am all the things he accused me of being. But I know I'm doing the right thing. This is usually when he would come running to my door, knocking, waiting, and begging me to unblock him. This is the first time that I won't. And I hope to God you don't, because there's another final update. Girl?
No! God, please, no! No!
This update was 2 years later, over 2 years later. It's dated July 29th, 2017. A lot could have happened in 2 years. They could be married. She could be with someone else. Gosh, so many possibilities. I knew deep down that something was desperately wrong with my relationship, but I was hell-bent on fixing it. It only took about 2 months after my breakup to know that I would 100% be okay. That moment came while I was on a family vacation and I was curling my hair in the mirror. I made eye contact with my reflection. I remember being startled because I saw someone looking back that looked calm. She wasn't worried about whether she's getting called slutty, whether smiling too much at dinner would get her accused of cheating, or whether the swimsuit she chose for the pool would get her accused of showing off and yelled at. For the first time in a year, I felt happy, safe, and confident. I became nearly giddy, realizing I hadn't been criticized in months, and I felt free. It took so much for me to get out of that relationship. I think I was borderline addicted to the highs and lows. Every time I started to escape, I got love bombed and I was pulled back in. I was worried nothing would ever feel as good as that relationship. However, I followed all the standard breakup advice and worked out, reconnected with friends, and started up new hobbies. And I went to counseling. It was a long road, but a much easier one than I originally expected. At the end of it, I was happy. I took a dating hiatus for 6 months after the breakup and I tried to rebuild on my own. I think this was extremely important to help me recenter. After those 6 months, I wrote out parameters for dating and a list of things I needed in a partner. I was picky. I stopped seeing people that I felt weren't listening to me or weren't treating me well. After 6 months of dating, I found someone that fit the list. I've been dating him for a bit over a year. And I can't stress enough how different this relationship is. It's night and day. I'm listened to, respected, treated like a real partner, and my boundaries matter. I can be friends with whoever I want. And I'm still good friends with James. And my alone time is given with no questions asked. James made the friendship cut all these years later. We love to see it. Guys, happy she got out of it. Can't even blame her because I quite literally was once in the same situation. So let me know. We can't be the only ones who've ever been there, you know? Be honest. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. Bye.